Hi everyone, I am here to talk about the Filipino values and moral development, strengths, and weaknesses of the Filipino character. So, let's start with the first strength of Filipinos, which is the pakikipagkapwa-tao. Filipinos open to others and feel one to others, regard others with dignity and respect, deal with them as fellow human beings. So, Filipinos' ability to empathize with others, in helpfulness and generosity in times of need or pakikiramay, in the patience of bayanihan or mutual assistance, and in the famous Filipino hospitality. Pakikipagkapwa-tao also promotes in camaraderie and a feeling of closeness to one another. So, the second strength is family orientation. Source of personal identity, emotional and material support, and one's main commitment and responsibility, honor and respect given to parents and elders, care given to the children, the generosity towards skin in need, and in great sacrifices, one endures of the welfare of the family. So the third strength is joy and humor. A sense of humor and a propensity for happiness that contribute not only to the Filipino charm but also to the indomitability of the Filipino spirit. Filipinos have a cheerful and fun, loving approach to life and its ups and downs. They have a positive views in life's circumstances. So the fourth strength is flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. Creative, resourceful, quick learners can improvise and make use whatever is at hand in order to create and produce. So, flexibility, adaptability, and creativity, Filipinos can easily adjust and adapt to circumstances in the surrounding environment, both physical and social. So, the fifth strength is hard work and industry. We have the capacity for hard work given proper conditions. So, Filipinos are very determined and persevering in accomplishing whatever they set their minds to. So, the sixth strength is faith and religiosity. Filipinos have deep faith in God. Our innate religiosity enables us to comprehend and genuinely accept reality in the context of God's will and plan. So, faith, inner attitude, conviction, or trust relating human beings to a supreme God or ultimate salvation. In religious traditions, stress in divine grace, it is the inner certainty or attitude of love granted by God Himself. So, the seventh strength is faith and religiosity. But our faith and daring was manifest at EDSA and other times in our history, even when our faith and daring was manifest at EDSA and other times in our history, seen in the capacity to accept failure and defeat. So, we recognize forces external to ourselves as contributing to how events in our lives turn out. The last, not but the least, the eighth strength is ability to survive. Filipinos make do with what is available in the environment. Survival skills are techniques that a person may use in order to sustain life in any type of natural environment or built environment. These techniques are meant to provide basic necessities for human life, which include water, food, and shelter. So we are done with 8 strengths of Filipinos. So let's proceed to the weaknesses of Filipinos. So let's start with the first weaknesses of Filipinos, which is the extreme personalism. Filipinos view the world in terms of personal relationship. Filipinos view the world in terms of personal relationships, no separation between an objective task and emotional movement. So, this personalism is manifested in the tendency to give personal interpretations to actions or to take things personally. So, the second weaknesses of Filipinos, which is extreme personalism. But because of this personalistic worldview, Filipinos have difficulty dealing with all forms of personal stimuli. We tend to be uncomfortable with bureaucracy, with rules and regulations, and with standard procedures, all of which tend to be impersonal. We tend to ignore them or we ask for exceptions. So, the third weaknesses of Filipinos is extreme family-centeredness. Excessive concern for the family creates an in-group to which the Filipino is fiercely loyal to the detriment of concern for the larger community or for the common good. Family-centeredness results to a lack of concern for the common good and act as a block to national consciousness. So, the fourth weaknesses of Filipinos is lack of discipline. We are impatient and unable to delay gratification or reward, resulting in the use of shortcuts in skirting the rules, the palusot syndrome, and in foolhardiness. So, if you do not have any goals or aims in life, you tend to drift and do not take any action to improve your life. This habit is one of the reasons for lack of self-discipline. So, the fifth weakness of Filipinos is passivity and lack of initiative. There is strong reliance on others to do things for us related to our need for a strong authority. So, Filipinos are generally passive and lacking in initiative. One waits to be told what has to be done. There is a strong reliance on others, example, leaders and government to do things for us. So, the six weaknesses of Filipinos is colonial mentality. Filipinos' culture is characterized by an openness to the outside, adopting and incorporating the foreign elements into our image of ourselves, not built around a deep core of Philippine history and language. It is defined as the perception of ethnic and cultural inferiority and a form of internalized racial oppression. It is deemed a direct consequence of the Philippines' long history of colonialism. So, the seventh weaknesses of Filipinos. Kanya-kanya syndrome. Filipinos have a selfish, self-serving attitude that generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness toward others, particularly one's peers who seem to have gained some status or prestige. So last but not the least, the eighth weaknesses of Filipinos. Lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. There is tendency in the Filipinos to be superficial and even somewhat flighty. In the serious problems, both personal and social, there is lack of analysis or reflection. We tend to emphasize on form or maporma rather than on substance. To be satisfied with rhetoric and endless words are very much part of public discourse.